On the path of life, we all have our own unique destiny. The life of every soul has a heroic probability to manifest into its highest levels of abundance and joy, and to be filled with goodness and divine inspiration. That's why I created Awakening with Sarah. And it is my hope to be a guide for you on the journey, bringing powerful tools, helpful wisdom, healing music, and inspirational guests to nourish and bless your journey of awakening. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll be on to our episode. Pamela Jane Gerrand is an ardent and beloved singer, songwriter, poet, and sacred sound alchemist. Weaving her heart-opening songs and tone poems, Pamela is devoted to uplifting humanity and raising consciousness with her unique Voicing the Divine Feminine concerts and sound alchemy gatherings. For over 15 years, Pamela has been following her higher guidance, traveling around the world as a sound alchemy gatekeeper and messenger of love. Pamela has devoted her life to being a channel for peace, harmony, and embodied love, offering a bridge to the undefended heart. Pamela's wisdom teachings are offered through song, tone poems, and sacred sound that allow us to quiet the mind and experience the holy beauty of our soul. Pamela has traveled far and wide as an angelic sound alchemist across Canada, the US, England, Sweden, France, Costa Rica, and India. She has written original songs and poems for many global initiatives, including the 1000 Goddesses Gathering in Washington, D.C., and the Walk for Peace in Glastonbury, England. Pamela has released 5 CDs of her original music and meditation and audio workshop materials. Pamela's song, Love is All, is the essence of her message. Love is who we are. Love expands love. We are here to be the love. Love is all. And you can find all of her offerings at PamelaJaneGerrand.com. And so, without further ado, let's welcome her to the show. And I'd love to invite Pamela Gerrand to the show. Hi, Pamela. Thanks so much for coming today.
My pleasure, Sarah. It's good to be here with you.
You too. And Pamela is one of my dearest friends in the whole world. And it's just a thrill to hang out with her. And we're just going to let this interview unfold organically, because that's kind of the way we roll, for sure.
Sounds good. It is the way we roll, and it's good to be in the flow these days. Yes.
So as far as the topics we want to cover, we can cover just kind of, why don't we start with just kind of what it is to be in all the forces that are here with us on the earth today, and how we navigate,
Right.
What is your surfing?
Yeah, it's been quite a lot of surfing these days. These waves, we've been up and down like the stock market. Call it a roller coaster, what you will. It this past couple of weeks, moving into this next super full moon at the end of August, it feels like, the heat has really turned up on the pilot light in each one of us. And we were talking a little bit before about really how important it is, with all of the external influences and chaos and input from the outer world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding more and more that I really need to implement practices that I've done for years, that I might come in and out of Oh, I'm really finding that I am drawn to stretch, to do my breath practices, to have my
Hmm.
bowls handy, to bring sound into it. I
Yes.
really need to be in nature. But I'm finding that my physical body is really giving me messages. My back, some days, like today, I woke up and it's not even a question of whether I can or cannot do yoga. It's like my back says, I've just got to, my spine is asking me to loosen.
To loosen it. Hmm.
So there's really an organic request, I find, from the body to be present and to really find peace and find that still point of the 0 point of divine neutrality. Because let's face it, there is so much that's happening, and so much happening, I want to say, in the background, uh,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
is affecting us all. And also the very obvious things of weather changing, whether the things that are happening in our world that are very volatile and chaotic, and can be very frightening, really pulling back from that fear mode, and finding that quiet center in the ways that we need to. And you and I
Yeah.
generally, just gravitate to sound and meditation and all the things that we find elevate us, because goodness knows there's enough in the world right now to get us feeling not good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel like for me, there was such a big shift on right around 4th of July. And it's interesting because 4th of July is all about, right, the freedom. And it was like more freedom codes came in from, I
Right.
use vocabulary that I like to
Yep.
sort of explain, from the Emerald
Yes.
Sun, right? And the
Yeah.
Emerald Sun is now, the Emerald Order is really where our divine human blueprint came from. And
Right.
so that divine holy mother, Queen Dragon in the 48th dimension, which is where the Emerald Sun hails from, is now coming to the earth as of the solstice. And on
Mm.
July 4th, I had this incredible session with my body talk practitioner, and the link was so amazing. It was like, okay, I give myself permission to leave the mind behind.
Mm.
And I give all of myself permission to have all of my bodies be guided and directed by signs and symbols in my
Mm.
world.
Mm.
And
Beautiful.
on that day, it's like I began a vision quest
Uh-huh.
into this emerald sun, not
Beautiful.
knowing what am I doing, just knowing, oh, I'm walking barefoot, I'm opening my heart, and I created these meditations where I go into the emerald forest.
Mm.
I'll send you this thing. You
Yeah.
love it.
Sounds
And
beautiful,
I
Sarah.
fall in and out of it, but that was the day that I kind of married that template, right? I said, I am married to the higher creational blueprint template.
Right.
And I don't know how to, it's actually going to anchor. I'm going to wax and wane. I'm going to move
Yes,
around. I'm going to
yes.
make mistakes, right? But at least I
Right.
know that's my goal. That's where I'm going.
Well, and as you say that, it's very interesting because I haven't worn this particular dress for
Green. She's
a couple of
wearing
years,
green.
and I chose to wear emerald green. I thought, oh, heart chakra. But as you were saying this, there is something this summer I have really
Yeah.
felt, kept hearing the summer of love. And I
Mm,
know what you're talking about, the embodiment of being in our hearts, and marrying the mind and the heart in that coherence where they're really working together. But that any of the shadow egoic thought forms that creep in, and they are coming back, you know
yeah.
again and again. I'm finding that it really is important to parent the thoughts well and to pivot away when that, because those spirals, when those, well, we know when those thought forms take hold, it can then open us up to other dark energies that take
Yeah.
us beyond our sovereign self. So I'm really finding, paying attention, when I think of it as a frequency, just, like tuning. I don't play guitar, I play piano, so I don't have to tune the way you do.
Oh,
But when
yes. We've got to tune a
like
lot.
tuning, we've got to calibrate back to, oh, I'm really feeling off. And even like today, it's been very gray and cloudy where I live in Canada the past couple of days. And today it was again, and it was a very heavy energy. And I woke up today feeling a bit like just that heavy lifting we've been talking about. And I allowed it to be. And really what I've been reading a lot of people on social media in different places commenting about the fact that, and we've talked about it, that we're tired.
Yeah,
This
we've been doing
physical
this for
vessel,
so long, haven't we?
we've been
And
doing it. It's not only the trajectory of how long we've been doing it, but this summer, as we've been asked to really dwell in this place of the heart, what's been interesting, at least this has been my experience, is that the fatigue that I've been having and like the feeling achy sometimes, it does feel like we're in a chrysalis, and the old caterpillar earthbound body that was ego bound and driven by all of the old conditioning, we've literally been in this chrysalis all summer.
yeah,
It feels kind of dark and unknown,
I
and at
know, and
times
it's been summer, so
exciting,
it's like the
right?
opposite, right? Because we're thinking
Right?
summer, yang, let's go out, and there's so much drawing in, and
Yeah.
and
And that
wondering,
fatigue, instead
mhm,
of, pathologizing it, at times, okay, well, if there's something really wrong, and of course we need to see a doctor.
yeah,
But even bigger than that is understanding that we are going through a huge transfiguration on the planet. And this
it's true.
transformation is
And
asking
one thing I
everything of
want to
us.
just insert in here because I think it really helps. I remember in July of 2018, Lisa Renee's newsletter. Lisa Renee's connected with energeticsynthesis.com
Yes.
for the audience. Um, and her newsletter was talking about how the mitochondria is transforming from an externally sourcing
Yep.
being to an internally sourcing being. So the pathways of being able to siphon and pull in energy from the outside, they're going pretty much extinct. And so we go through this super deep fatigue when we're changing over where the energy is sourcing from, right? Because this mitochondria is mutating into
Yes.
into this self-sourcing, right? It's going to source the eternal source code of living light, right, which is in our divine blueprint. But when
Right.
we go from like all the outer gas stations are no longer plugged, we're not plugged into them,
Good
but we're not
analogy.
yet
Yeah.
plugged into the internal. We go through this transitional place where we're like, am I going to die today? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I
Where is
don't
my
know.
umbilical cord today? Yeah.
So we're
Makes a lot of
switching.
sense.
Yeah. I mean, and
Yeah.
it's exciting, right, to think of that internal sourcing of the God seed code, right? And Jason S. as another person I love to follow, I think we're at 23 circuits, I think, out of our
Right.
64.
Right.
So if you think about the internally source feeding divine light body, quasi physical, spiritual light body that we're moving towards, that has 64 circuits, right? So
Right.
what are we when we're in that phase of going from the 23 circuits to the 64? It's like we're crossing that abyss. We got to bring stuff online that hasn't been online, and when those connections are being made, we got to
Right.
sleep.
Right. Sleep and
Rest,
rest, and release all
meditate.
of the lower emotional frequencies and states that arise often, in conversation with a lot of people.
Yes, yes, yeah,
Really, what's been coming up is letting go of so many of the old ways of self-judgment around that.
yeah,
The third dimensional type A, push, achieve.
right.
When you're tired, just drink more coffee and push more. All of those old ways that
Yeah,
just drain the body of life force, that we're releasing shame and guilt and any of those ways that are draining to our life force. But this deep rest, it's so funny.
deep breath.
Once, I think it was, trying to think if it was Elizabeth Gilbert that said that,
It was our beautiful Jeff Foster.
oh, Jeff Foster refers to it as that being depressed is
The
deep
deep
rest.
rest. We need
Right.
deep
When we're
rest.
depressed, the body is actually saying it is time. And the biggest piece for this, what's been coming back to me again and again, is trust.
Yes.
trust in this unfolding and what is happening to us all. And so I don't know, I'm calibrating to a different way of being where large crowds or certain events that I would normally go to out of sense of obligation, I'm just recalibrating and I'm finding a deeper no when I say, no, I'm not going to be the blur girl where I just go, go, go and say yes to everything, and really fine tuning like a laser.
Mm-hmm.
What is a priority? So I think that as we do this as a human species, we're letting go of codependency, we're letting go of people pleasing, we're letting go of all the ways that we've been conditioned to be a victim and a martyr, and then
Yes.
we're victim and the martyr, the other flip side of that is being a tyrant because we're angry that we're actually not being valued and we don't respect ourselves, and then we're exhausted. So we're letting go of all of those dysfunctional ways of being, and it takes a lot of courage and self-reflection and honoring of the self and of this amazing journey to trust the instinctual nature. And you know, something that I've been doing this summer that I keep coming back to
The
is that
butterflies.
I hand raise monarch butterflies inspired by a dear friend of mine, my friend Barb, who has been doing this for years because she taught elementary school, and it was, you know, the monarch butterfly was a unit she taught. And so today I have 5 chrysalises that are, first they turn jet black when they're getting ready to
Yeah, the
eclose.
black goo.
Right. Then, and then the, well, it's closer to the time that they're getting ready to emerge. They're very dark black. And then the chrysalis turns transparent, like saran wrap. And you can see the black and orange and white wings inside,
Wow.
like right inside the chrysalis. So
That's
I have 5 that this morning were very black, a couple that were the transparent, like they look like monarch butterfly wings stained glass. Like it's so beautiful, exquisite. And I collect the eggs under the milkweed leaves, and you know, then I have little nurseries where I, you know, when they're tiny caterpillars, and then they bump up to the bigger nursery when they get bigger. And this is just something that has become something I'm so passionate about and fascinated by. And to watch these caterpillars as they munch and munch the milkweed and get really fat, and when they just all know there is a switch inside of them that they must go up. So in the wild they would go under a leaf or a branch or a surface where then they would create the silk that they hang from. But in this case it's the top of the enclosure or the little wooden edges. And I am always so amazed every time I see they know when it's time to stop eating,
Yeah.
go up, hang in the J. They're in the J for about 24, 48 hours before they unzip and their little coat comes off and they wiggle out, and there's the chrysalis, and they're in the chrysalis for 12 to 14 days. And while they're there, they literally are liquefying, and the liminal cells that belonged to the caterpillar transform into the butterfly, although they don't look the same at all, in less than 2 weeks. It
Yeah.
is so miraculous. Yeah.
It is truly miraculous, you know, and I think that butterfly code, there's like a butterfly code, or maybe it's the butterfly people that are in the other dimensions, but there's definitely this butterfly code, this butterfly matrix, which is assisting us as humans to move through rapid change. I was working
Absolutely.
with a client just the other day, and her body was becoming a butterfly. We could see the
Wow.
butterfly code imprinting itself, so that
Mm,
her angelic wings, because we know
yes.
in our higher blueprint, our dragon self has wings, our bird self has wings, our angelic self has
Yes.
wings, and so there are these incredible wings that are sprouting in the back,
Right,
and
right, right,
and
right.
she saw it. She saw the whole, and I was like, oh my God, there must be a butterfly code that's assisting us, and that's out of you,
Ah,
you know, being right
oh,
there.
that's beautiful. And it makes so much sense. And yes, there is so much support for us right now. You know, our guardians, our light family teams, the ascended masters, the guardian angels, the dragons, the angelics, the elementals, the nature spirits. We
All
have
of them.
these, and we have these amazing human minds, and yet it's our greatest burden
Oh, yeah.
when we get caught in the overthinking
Because the
and
ego has to die. I mean,
right.
like if that caterpillar in the stage of that instinct, right? It just knows I'm molting, I'm changing. And with these high level gamma rays that are coming as of the
Yes.
solstice, right? Because this
Right.
blue rainbow bridge architecture is bringing these high level gamma rays. And those are the instruction sets of
We are
our
having
diamond
that.
sun
Yeah,
body.
exactly. From
Right.
the
And so
sun.
there's no
Yeah.
choice. The ego is going just like that, just like I'm not going to eat anymore. It's time to, but we have to do that from this human, powerful cerebral cortex and frontal
Yeah.
lobes that can see time and worry about the past and grab onto identities from thought patterns. And so when the
Right.
divine mother comes through these gamma rays and basically takes a torch to a whole section of our identity,
Yes.
the self does not know the difference between that and death.
Yeah.
It feels like death.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes when it hits me, I'll be like, okay, I've gone through ego death so many times, but right
Right.
now I might be dying.
Mm-hmm.
Because each
Yeah.
time it feels so much like you're dying
It's
that I'm just,
intense.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is like, and I wake up in the morning, I'm still there. But a
Yeah.
whole bunch of files that were not usable by the divine have been just dissolved.
Right.
And I'm like,
I know.
how can I still be
I hear
here? Like,
you.
how can I
Yeah.
still have hands and a feet and clothes and I'm still in my
Right.
house? I thought that took all my brain off with that
Right.
last
Right.
fire. And so those are what
Oh,
gamma rays just, they're like ruthless. They just take a torch and
right. And there is a deliberateness to this energy that's coming in for this transformation, um, that these creatures in the animal kingdom, without this discursive, doubting ego mind that we
right.
have, they,
Yeah.
they're in so many ways, they just go through the process so much more easily. And as you're saying this, I so appreciate, and for anyone listening and anyone feeling the energy of this, because anything that I do, and I know for you as well, Sarah, I always begin with, may this be for the highest good of all, and may this
Yeah.
be in service to the awakening of humanity. And any who are feeling the pressure and the constriction
Yeah.
of this, the intensity of these times, without the knowledge or the knowing of what is actually going on, it's so
Yes.
hard
Yes.
to experience it without
Yes. You need the
even
higher
thinking there's
context.
something terribly wrong with you, right? So I just feel, want to take a moment to embody deep compassion, empathy, and gratitude for all humans on this planet right now, that we not only agreed to come at this time, we stood in line, we
Oh yeah,
really
this is the
wanted,
most sought after experience you can
right?
have. Like it's
Exactly. We elbowed
global.
our way in and said, I want to be there for this time on
Barely,
planet Earth,
yeah, yeah.
right? And it is miraculous and profound, and also can be so exhausting and terrifying, and all of the things that we've been talking about. So what keeps coming back again and again is that this is the time that we have come to grow the musculature of our own instinctual nature, that really there are only two energies in the world. We know this: fear and love.
Hmm.
Whenever any shade of fear comes up, whatever that might be, because there are many shades that the ego dances in
Hmm.
here, and the not enoughness, the fear of scarcity and lack, the so many of us that have come into, as star seeds or light workers, we didn't come in, with any attachment to power lunches and portfolios and big
Right.
jobs.
It's so
We just
foreign. We
we
just
just
wanted to
went,
be
no, I'm
seen,
gonna,
loved, and
yeah,
recognized, right?
right. So it's almost
Yep.
like we repelled from that particular experience, which is necessary to live in this world,
Capitalism. I mean,
right?
capitalism it spawns so much fear and lack if you are a cultural creative that is depending on your own magnetism to
Of
manifest.
course,
And
it's
then the
virtue.
journey of the demagnetism of the whole
Yes.
first, second, and third dimensional planet. It's kind of like a practical joke. Oh, all
It
you have to
is.
do
No
is
matter what
heal
you
the
do.
first,
Yeah.
second, and third layer, and then you'll have a place in this world. And if you could exist at a superficial level and plug in, you wouldn't
Yeah.
have to even go into those core wounds. But now the whole human race is going into those core wounds, whether you
Exactly. And
gain
we
the
came here
fourth
for this.
place
And
or not.
it's my thought and my belief that actually we came in with different wiring to not have that as our end goal and
Yeah, yeah, we
focus.
did. We did.
Yeah, because, and there's a bigger piece to it. And I love that I heard it described once that it's not actually a failure not to have the abundance of the material, corporate, commercial, patriarchal world. We came in not necessarily rebelling against it, but there was a deeper radiance
Mhm.
where we knew deep in our bones, in our cells, what the true driver of humanity is co-creation, connectivity, deep, beautiful inspiration, creativity, the ability to express, and the passion that we came into this world to innovate and inspire,
Yeah, yeah,
and not to consume and acquire, but to self-source this liberating,
yeah.
luscious,
The nectar.
luminous
Yeah.
creativity that, the songs, the dancing, the art.
And in so doing, building bridges back to the Holy Mother and Holy Father so they could
Yes,
reclaim this planet for divinity.
exactly.
So we've been here path cutting, bushwhacking
Right,
this eternal source God conduit through following
right.
our passion. There's
Because,
no like choice. You can't not
right,
follow your passion because we came to open that circuitry through our passion, right?
right. And we've talked about this. We feel like a square peg in a round hole. We
Oh
don't
yeah.
fit.
Oh
We don't
yeah.
earn money the same way. No matter what we do, it's like banging our head against a brick wall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yet, what we know to be true without a doubt, and wow, my throat just starts to clog
Is
up
your
because
throat?
there's so
Yeah.
much we came to clear, because so much of
Self-expression,
the
right? That's right.
throat chakra, which is so related to the heart,
Yep.
the divine feminine energy is rooted in the polar opposite of ego, shame, doubt, scarcity. And all of the conditioning that we've had is that we are sourced from outside ourselves. We are
All
looking
of it.
to
Absolutely.
effect, not to cause, not to the source, right?
Right.
So we actually came in, you know, dancing at the edges of
Mm-hmm.
this world, really tapped into, because I know for myself, it always seems like make or break time. Everything that I've needed has been at the fingertips of my awareness. And it is that we are magicians because we are alchemizing through the trust in the truth. We don't go through the regular pathways. And this is what we've come to the earth to understand, that it's about this trust and this faith and the exchange of energy and, whatever it is that we are here in our gifts to exchange in services or whatever it is. There's a much more mutually beneficial way that we're moving into, that isn't about competing and power over, and
Right.
money
Right.
itself as an energy,
Right. Yeah. I mean,
and
I'm,
greed is such a lower
yeah.
vibration that it just naturally puts people into that Scrooge mentality.
And
Gimme, 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 gimme,
but
right?
somehow the spirit of money itself, I think, really desires to be part of this healed circuit. Because I can almost intuitively and empathically connect to the spirit of money. And so it's like I want to see and feel money experiencing itself circulating through a thriving human race before it goes
Beautiful.
out,
Yeah.
before it goes
Right.
off the planet, because we know
Sure.
no ascending planet has a money system.
Right.
This has been a major part of prison planet Earth. It's been a major
Yeah.
capitalism and the need to make money. If you took away the need to make money,
Which just makes
everybody
us
would
slaves.
evolve and
Yeah.
ascend like that.
Well, and I'm trying to remember which author it was that years ago, and how many programs that I've done to heal my money issue, my
Oh
power
my
issue.
God.
And
Yes.
but at the heart of it, she used a phrase that I love that actually makes me think of what you're talking about, the healing of the soul of money.
The soul of
She said
money.
so many of us have been, it's like this feeling of inadequacy, frustration, failure, impossibility.
And that hurts money. That money.
And she said it's been demonized, right? So
Yeah.
her phrase was, "Make money your honey." So
Make
she talked
money,
about
honey. I love
so she
that.
talked about, having a money honey, right? Because, and it's so funny. It really is about the way that we look at things, that we shift it. And honestly, it's about whether it's about relationships, whether it's about anything that arises in our day. To me, the message I've been getting over and over again is lighten up. Just
Lighten
lighten
up.
up.
Yeah. And that's the heavy drama of
Yeah.
that 3D mind. And then, when the pain body gets involved, right? And the forces on the planet that feed off of the pain body,
Oh,
that
yes.
that have, and when we've had lifetimes where the being in the pain body has given us a lot in past lives in these dysfunctional systems.
Yeah.
And so it becomes this, like, it's funny because I don't know what like, if we have a pain body and I think, okay, we must have a joy body. We must have a bliss body.
Nobody talks about it, but
How do
yeah, light
we
body
feed?
for sure.
Like, so
Yep.
how do we feed we know that the downward spiral is the pain body. It's like a black
Right.
hole suck, right? And this is not invalidating emotions that need to be felt, but this is just to
Right.
not get into the place where you're actually feeding more pain.
Right.
Right? This is because all life has suffering, but the pain body magnifies it and makes unnecessary suffering due to human addictive patterns. So it's like,
Yeah.
my big thing is, how do because I come from deep addiction to the pain body. I mean, big time, getting energy for crisis and getting energy for drama. And I'm no
Yep.
judgment there. It's just been the way I was wired.
Right.
But to rewire myself so that I'm feeding not from the dark mother, but from the divine mother. Because the divine
Yeah.
mother only wants her children to experience joy. That's all she wants. And so if you start to tune into her, it's like, whoa, she starts giving you this path, this blessed pathway, to open to
Mm.
receive her higher octaves of love.
Beautifully said. Oh,
And of
beautifully
course,
said.
as she comes in, the deeper pain stuff comes out to be like an enema. It's so much like an enema. The
Yeah.
white light, the golden light, the higher frequencies really come in, and then all the places that have been without those frequencies surface to cry and weep and maybe get
Yeah.
angry and feel core shame or whatever. And it's just like, because that light needs to seed into the fertile ground. And so as soon as the light comes, the ground has to transform itself. So we
Right.
release all these things that are keeping us from receiving love. It's like we're going from a light repellent uh, elemental structure to a light embracing elemental structure, right? That's the ascension, is that
Yeah.
change. And I want you to sing us a song or read us a poem.
Well, it's interesting as you were saying that because, it is true through the depths of the duality that we came to live in and everything you just described so beautifully and powerfully. It's true. This is the grit it's been the sand in our oyster that is helping us grow the pearl of our consciousness, right?
Yes,
And it's
absolutely.
and embracing those parts of us that we have relegated to the basement, to the dark, the black parts, the shadow parts um, that we feel shame around or fear or just, that they're all parts of us are wanting to be freed and loved. And so actually, as we were just talking, there is a song. This isn't one that I wrote, but
Oh,
it's not one that I wrote, but it's one you'll know, and it's one that just wants to be brought into the conversation today
yeah,
because
bring it.
it feels like this moment that we're in. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Free. Hey, hey. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of a dark, dark night. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free, to be free, free, to be free. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting. It is time to arise, to arise into the light. Eske waske ime baweske ya. Shike wa meski, shke wa I, oshke wa mebi, eshke wa mebi waska, oh hey, doshke me we, oshke wa mo meshkwe ya, mo meshkwe dunde wa, oye ya, oye ya, oh you. Oh, oh, yeah.
Beautiful. So beautiful. What language were you singing at the end there? Was it light language, or it sounded kind of Hebrew, or?
That was light language.
Yours is different than mine. I've never done the Obiwashka thing.
That was the light language coming from the dark.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, and then there's a poem from my new book that's coming out soon called Wild Echo that feels like she wants to play in this field as well and dance here. And it's called A Gaia Prayer. Yes, oh yes, we rise. We rise in naked, numinous splendor. We sing, we rage, we rattle the cage, gathering courage, howling open. We feel the Great Mother sing our bones into a wolfen shape. We summon the pack, taste the scent of the moon, rise, singing the solemn and aching wail of our sisterhood. The melody cuts and grips our tongue, opens our throat gate, and spills starlight in spirals that open the celestial portal. Heaven on earth, we are scribes giving birth, as the old world scorches and dies to the truth. agendas implode. All eyes see anew. The women know. We hold the keys. Baptized in tears, we fall on our knees. We taste the forgiveness of the mother. We fall to rise. The women know.
Beautiful. Yes. Oh my God. The Christed solar feminine, man. We've been held down so long under this negative
Oh.
takeover. And now it's like, and the thing is, the Christed solar feminine carries the healing codes for the entire mind of the
Mm-hmm.
masculine. But it's
Yes.
only just coming in, and it's like, oh yes, the
Ah,
sisterhood. I
yes,
love the wolf. That it reminds me, of course, of Pinkola Estes. Where we're
for sure.
singing
She's always been
the
such an inspiration to
flesh on
me.
the bones, right? We're
Yeah,
singing it.
I think that poem was in some ways inspired by her story in Women Who Run with the Wolves.
Oh,
That's
so
always been
beautiful.
so impactful to me. La Loba, the wolf woman.
Yeah, La Loba. Yeah, my friend made a song called La Loba
Okay.
Sings. Oh my
Right.
God. I gotta just sing it for you really quick. This is
Yep.
Hanalei. I'll send you the link. I'll put the
Okay.
link in the
Yes.
show notes for
Sounds good.
Pam's books, for Pam's website, for
Yeah.
everything, so that you guys will know. I also want to sing my praises for your song Emerging, which I'll put the link to that in the show. Pam has beautiful music as a musician, as a singer, as a sister
Mm.
in her coven of the stars and the earth. Her music
Thank you.
is a healing balm. It's just so beautiful. I can't recommend her music highly enough. My favorite song of all is her song Emerging.
Mm.
And to this day, I watch the video, and it's that embryo that's born of the light and the dark, and the compassion. So the beauty in this song Emerging, I'll have the link in the show notes. But I encourage you to really listen to that in an undistracted place, and just take that
Mm.
song in as the medicine for our time, because it is. Just thinking about it, I got chills, starting to get weepy.
Thank
Emerging.
you.
So we'll have it. So,
It's a
but this
journey
song
song.
reminds
Yeah.
me of, I gotta share, it's real short.
Yes.
So it goes, La Loba sings, she knows all things. So that's the first part. And then the second part, we we are reweaving, gathering the threads of light, singing over bones on, coming back to life again. So the first part is, we
Mm.
are reweaving,
Mm.
fibers spun into the whole. Oh, spiraling the threads into the center. And then the
Mm.
second part is that we are reweaving, gathering the threads of life, singing over bones, and coming
Oh,
back to life again. And then the next part goes, Earth people, let's see, wild people of the earth sing together now. Wild people singing over the bones. Wild people of the earth join together now. Wild people singing over the bones. And
oh
just
yeah.
like, yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll
That
have that
is,
in
I
the
would
show
love to
notes
have.
too.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, what a call to this rising energy. And yeah, it sounds like a beautiful call to action for everyone. I was going to say for women, but women, men, the children. She really, in that Liloba story, your friend caught the sparks of the revivifying energy of that, because she talks about that. There's a quote from that particular story in that book. She says, to sing means to use the soul voice. It means to stay on the
Mm-hmm.
breath, the truth of one's power and one's need. To sing is to breathe soul over that which is ailing or in need of transformation. So
Oh,
I always feel, I memorized that years ago, and it's like a tattoo on my being now,
so
that
beautiful.
when we sing, you know, years ago, I've sung many different styles of music and different, you know, theater, concerts, different things. But when I really started to receive my own songs, and I want to, call them medicine songs,
Yes.
Um, when I memorized songs and sang Gilbert and Sullivan and Broadway songs and pop and folk and jazz, it was always joyful, and singing is medicine no matter what. But it was always sort of from here up. I would memorize it. It was definitely the heart, but it was
Uh-huh.
like in my head, and it was just kind of an experience from here up. These songs that started to come through me, and like the song your friend wrote, you can feel the melody of it, and it's, such a the chant is, it's
It's like
so,
embodying, right?
it
It brings
is.
you past your down into your lower chakras,
Yeah,
and it's like I've started doing these embodied song circles, where we're dancing and singing at the same time, so that
right,
we can really feel. Yeah, because for years I do like concerts or song circles, and that's the same feeling, like the broken. It's like there was a broken heartedness because of the disconnect from my body. But I
right,
sing from up here, and I'd be singing this beautiful energy, and it would
right.
affect a lot of people and bring healings. But for me, my heart was not. I was broken hearted while I'm
Well,
singing.
it's interesting that you
And,
say that.
and now
Yeah,
I sing, and I sing with joy because it's all the way down through my body,
through the belly and the womb.
through the
And I was just
belly,
going
through
to
the
say that
feet.
when you started to sing it, I naturally wanted to join in. And what I think we're tapping into with this conversation, and I could feel with the melody that your friend wrote or she
Yes.
received,
Yeah.
because it's very much of all of the chant songs, the call and response songs, the women's medicine songs. They have this certain beautiful, infectious, haunting melody that's just catchy, right? And
Yes.
singing together, this is what it is, the
My
difference between
favorite thing in the world.
performance. Right. See, performance is one thing, and that's definitely bringing the medicine in a certain way when we are the channel and the vessel. But when we sing together, it's like we receive the energy through Mother Earth herself, through the
Yeah.
soles of our feet, down through our legs, up into our pelvic bowl, and it swirls around. And I just really, what is that one quote? I forget the poet, but she said, the women remember we are here to heal the world with joy. And birds remember that they greet the dawn with song, and the dusk the same, right? They greet the day, the beginning and the end, the
Yes.
marginal liminal times of the day. They bring it in with song. So
Yeah.
medicine song, I mean, we literally activate our, I think about not only our light body and the joy and its medicine, because of all of our cells light up when we're singing, and especially singing together. But it's scientifically proven that when we are singing and singing together, any of these practices, we lengthen the telomeres on the end of our DNA, which is responsible for our immune system and our longevity.
Yeah.
So we just literally, it's an anti-aging, it's a youthening, it's a vibrancy, it's a
Yeah.
vitality.
It's something so big. I've just been, I'm now do every Monday night. I gather people at my house in Portland. You're welcome if you're
Oh,
watching. I'll put my link in here.
awesome.
But
Yeah.
yeah, because I decided big or small, no matter how many people join me, every Monday night I'm holding space for
Good.
collective song. And it's kind of like a lifeline for me. Sometimes 3 people come, sometimes 10 people come,
Yeah.
sometimes no people come. And Frank and I sing.
You're holding
Because
space.
we're
And you know
holding
what?
space for this, right? I mean,
So
I
cool.
saw stadiums, like football stadiums in this vision, and
Yeah.
like across the earth, just singing. And I saw this white bird. This was, I think, December of 2008 that I was shown this vision of this white bird that was flying over the earth. And in her tail feathers, in the wake of her tail feathers, the veil of fear was lifting off of the whole earth as the
Wow.
collective song wave was covering the whole planet. And I said, Divine Grace, what the heck is this? Am I supposed to call Barack Obama? Am I supposed to try to get a basketball stadium or a football stadium? Because Obama was president then. And they're like, beloved one, you have been shown a glimpse,
Right.
right? And they said, you are part of this collective song wave that
Right.
will eventually lift fear off of this earth. But you
Mm.
cannot know right now all the details of it. It's going to unfold in its own timing, right? That's the
Right.
problem with being a prophet, right? You get stuff that's 30 years out, and your little human
True.
self is going, but
I have to look up something to send you, and maybe you can put it in the show notes. You're making me think of something that Morgan Lee wrote or shared
Oh,
yesterday, the day
Morgan,
before,
yes.
Todd's partner. She shared something yesterday that speaks to this, is so on point, and basically talking about the false light of fame and big platforms, and what you're describing in the world we've known to this point, where stadiums were filled with people, and how it actually inverted people's natural goodness and their light. And
Mhm.
that what you're describing, we're coming into an era where those of us who either were never drawn to that or actually stayed away from it, knowing what the cost was to our souls, that we are shifting to a time where, just as everything shifts, the larger platforms will be held by people who have been the daughters of Persephone, gone into the deep waters of the pain
Yeah.
body and resurrected the incredibly indomitable heart that has suffered so deeply. This is the Christed
Yeah,
feminine.
and it's also
This
being
is presented rose.
ambassadors, right, of
Yes.
unity. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
ambassadors of that unity logos, right? So that
Yeah.
we're using these gatherings um, to be focal points for this rising collective song,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
building these fields of coherence, which
Yeah.
are creating islands of light that are
Yeah.
uniting until the whole earth moves into her natural blueprint of unity consciousness, right? Like it's like I have to sing
Yeah.
the tiniest
Absolutely.
little song, but like one of the songs I received, lots of times I sing with my guitar, sometimes not, but this one I think you know this one. I've sung this with like 40 people at once, you know, and you feel like the earth is going to resurrect, but I'll just do a little part of it. And the driving force in it is love is in the earth. That's like the engine. Love is in the earth. And then on top of that, well, below that is great Mother Earth. So just like imagine a whole stadium, just this great Mother Earth. And then the next part is we are meant to love the earth and all of her creatures. We are meant to live in peace with all of her people. Then the last part is we are all a part of this great dream of joy. We are all a part of this great leap of faith. We are part of the one heart, the one love, the one song that's rising to be free. And we are part of the one heart, the one love, the one mind that's rising to be free. We are part of the great dream awakening now. We are part of the one love that's learning how. Love is in you, love is in me, love is in everything we see. Open up your heart, open up your mind, love is in the earth. Oh, love, beautiful love, awakening love. Oh, love, beautiful love, awakening love. And it just goes until it's over. One time we traveled through time on that song. because it wasn't ending. And I was like, why is it not ending? It turns out everyone in the room when I was doing this song had been in Buchenwald concentration camp, including me.
Oh
And
my,
this song took everyone back in time, and we rewrote the entire timeline until it was celebration for every soul trapped in that timeline. It was incredible. It was like, oh my God.
power of song, the
The
power of
power of song. We traveled and we
intention.
rewrote that entire
Well,
timeline.
it has a real, an undulating, it's very oceanic. I can feel the healing waters in it. It is just waves and waves
Yes,
of
like
love.
this
And
energy.
this is rising on the planet right now.
It
There are
is.
so many gatherings and festivals that are emerging and re-emerging in the way of bringing people together in that unity logos. And
Yeah.
so it's happening. It really is. And
It's happening.
we just have to keep the faith. It just keeps coming back to the word trust and rest.
Trust and rest and a lot of patience. I mean, yesterday the big message from the angels, because I interviewed my friend who channels the angels, and that'll be on the episode probably before this one, um, is that the angels were just really reminding us that it's really like a tuning fork.
Hmm.
That if we can just hang out and dwell for even a moment in that place where it's all right,
Yeah.
where it's all right, because somehow the mind of God, the God, the eternal source behind all of this, allowed all of this to be.
Yeah.
So there is a place in us as seeds of that God
Yes.
that can allow all of this to be, right? And so if we can dwell in that place of infinite allowance, even just like 5 minutes in there, it starts to swallow everything that hurts. It just
Beautiful.
literally takes everything back home.
Yes,
And the
it
more we
does.
dwell there, the more that becomes the only place that exists. And then it consumes all duality. And then
Yes.
we're home, right? Then our world is outpressing as unity because we've found unity inside at a critical
Uh,
time,
uh,
right?
it is. We are heading to that world, and I want to share one last little poem
Of course.
because it's making me feel I was drawn to this poem that's called Between Worlds, because we do feel like we have one foot in each world at the moment. And
Absolutely.
it's a little bit disconcerting to feel that unbalanced and to be, I mean, some days I've actually been feeling dizzy and
Yes.
just like
Gamma,
a lot of
high
that,
level gamma.
right?
It's
And it feels
it's
like it's a blood sugar thing,
really,
but I know it's really from the solar effects of the gamma rays in the sun recalibrating us. So compassion for self, faith, trust, patience, going deeper into, instead of saying what's wrong, the fear says, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Something's really wrong, like,
yes, yeah.
and there is in that space within, when we just withdraw within, I just keep going back to my caterpillars, that
Yes,
it's
yes,
just
they
so
have
amazing
that
to watch it
space.
unfold, right? And it is a miracle. We are a miracle unfolding, but we are between worlds, and it's tricky to navigate. So this is this particular poem. How do I hold these hot, holy tears? My palm punctured from grasping, my voice rasping and wailing into the inky dark of night. Between worlds, a liminal love space, holding the tension of opposites, broken and holy. Chop wood, carry water. I would, but I am frozen here. A
Mm.
breathing statue, feeling for those who dare not touch the pain, the joy, the sorrow, the bliss. How could I resist the invitation to dwell as an in between angel, not fully human, not fully winged,
Oh,
bridging worlds on the high wire love frequency of song, where angels whisper melodies of infinite beauty, and humans devour the sustenance of every note. Deep space, holy water, hold me now. I am your daughter. Free my soul into this exquisite ebony night, where ravens and doves leave feather trails, secrets and signs. White hot at the edge of two worlds, where your new passport will not allow the stamp of fear. Love has opened the gates to a new world, heaven on earth. Child, man, woman, beast, no one left behind.
That is so beautiful, Pam. When did you write that? The passport, I was thinking about,
Yeah,
when
where
we were
the
coming into Arizona, trying to, coming into
well,
to
do you
do
know
your,
that poem actually came just before COVID, and
oh,
then
wow.
everything happened with that, and that line where your new passport will not allow the stamp of fear.
So beautiful.
I it was a bit longer. I edited it, made it more kind of laser to the point. But that particular line about this new earth we're moving into, it's true.
That just like was like, whoa. I mean, I started to get, tear up at like, wow, yeah, with all the things we've been through with our passports and our vaccination and all the things that yeah, right before COVID. So I saw the earth pulling COVID toward its breast to take the contract. And as it did, I saw the whole new earth explode and be
Right.
born. So it's like, and here we are with another wave of COVID. We're still dancing with it, but it will lead us. It is leading us. It has been leading us to the reclamation of our Holy Mother, Holy Father of the earth through the great cluster FUCK.
Well,
Trying to
we're being shown again and again that we are divine beings in this human suit, and any dis-ease is simply a disharmony within the form, and that really this is too much of a bigger conversation, but
yeah, it's
any
a big
threat
gun.
of disease, pathogen, bacteria, virus, this is all very much man-made to infect us with the fear that will then course through us. We create this dis-ease.
Hmm. Hmm.
So through the collective agreement of it. So
It's an
just as
invitation to love, to become love.
it is, and to shift away from that. So we are bigger than any of these things that threaten to take dominion over us. It's time to embrace our divine sovereignty and not allow a stamp of fear on our new passport. And in the
Yes.
worlds, there will be no borders, and there will be no need for that kind of regulatory hoop jumping. Anyways, we are moving there, and it is,
Yay.
yeah, self-love, taking that sacred pause because we are going to be buffeted by the winds of change and the fear, the things that arise, just to know that we are so supported at this time, and to use Mother Nature's very profound gifts of grounding. I do find that the human world right now can really be ungrounding to all of
So
our
the earth, yeah, like bare feet on the earth and just connecting. Yep. And
presence in your
singing to the earth. It's one of my favorite things is just to sing to the trees and sing to the earth. And
yeah,
usually we gather in the backyard when we can. If it gets
good,
too hot or too smoky or too rainy, we'll come
yeah,
in. But otherwise, we're outside singing because everything joins us in this great biosphere, you know. Well,
beautiful.
sweetheart, wow, we got through it. We could probably go on another hour.
We could, Sarah.
But
Thank
yeah,
you for
so
having me.
thank you for coming. It's just always a pleasure to hang out with you. And so Pam's new book, when does it come out? Is it out now?
So, not yet. So it's officially being launched in Stratford, where I live, October 29th. I have a few soft launch appearances. I'm at a festival called Soulshine next weekend. So the books themselves are due to arrive next week. So I don't have them in my possession yet, in my heart yet. But so they will be available online sometime, probably, I would think. It'll be probably late September, early October. I can send you the link then.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I'll just add it to the show notes.
That
And
would be wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, and then your website, people can purchase music or
Yeah.
okay, and that's pamgerrand.com.
PamelaJaneGerrand.com. Yes, give me
PamelaJaneGerrand.com.
the
Yeah.
whole link in your
All right. Well, it's such a
notes.
pleasure. It's been such a pleasure, and it's been a wonderful journey of topics that we just kind of flew through.
Yes. Well, thank you for being
Mm.
the amazing earthly Gaia galactic goddess that you are. Like, I'll dub you that, the Gaia galactic goddess.
Hi, a galactic goddess.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I'll
bring
take
so
it. I'll
much.
take it.
You you have a way of, you've distilled so much wisdom, and you bring it through your heart and your mind and your being with your unique Sarah flair, and it's a lot of beautiful wisdom for our times with so much love. You carry so much love in your heart.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. As do you. I bow
Mhm.
to you, and we bow to each other in the feminine sisterhood.
You got it.
All right. Bye
All
bye,
right. So
sweetheart.
much love. Okay.
You
Bye
too.
bye
Bye. We'll see everybody next time in the next episode and get in touch with Pam if you would like to. And I'll have all her links in the show notes.
now.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye
Sarah.
bye. Bye, sweetie. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find all of the guest information as well as my contact information in the show notes. The musical selections for the intro and the outro were Let Yourself Be Awash in a Sea of Love and Mother Song. You can listen to and purchase these songs and more at sarahadams1.bandcamp.com. If you found value in today's content, please like and share, as it really helps support the continued production of this podcast. If you would like to schedule a free informational call with me, you can do that at calendly.com/Sarah Adams Healing /30 minutes. Many blessings, and we will see you in the next episode. Mother, flow the golden raindrops from your loving hand. Mother, feel me dance upon your warm brown land. Mother, blow the breezes of the springtime wind, for you are the light that breathes the breath in me.